7th grade science, chapter 2, section 5, monocot families. Monocot or dicot. As we have seen, angiosperms are divided into two groups based on the number of their cotyledons. Those having only one cotyledon are called monocots. Those with two cotyledons are referred to as dicots. Dicot, the double dipper. Dicots generally have broad leaves with branching veins, petals in groups of 4 or 5, and a large taproot with secondary rootlets. These plants make up the larger of two groups of angiosperms. Almost 3/4 of flowering plants are dicots. We have just studied 8 dicot families: composite, pea, rose, buttercup, mint, honeysuckle, parsley, and milkweed. Other families include the laurel, pink, violet, begonia, mustard, cactus, dogwood, water lily, geranium, and morning glory. Most flowering trees like willows, walnuts, birches, and maples are also dicots. Monocot, a single scoop. Monocots generally have long, slender leaves with parallel veins. They have petals in multiples of 3 and a fibrous root system. Monocots include the grass family, the lily family, and the amaryllis family. Palm trees, cattails, sedges, irises, and orchids are other familiar monocots. Lily family. Members of the lily family include the tiger lily, the lily of the valley, and the asparagus. Some early blooming lilies are tulips, hyacinths, and trilliums. The daylily has tawny orange flowers, each of which blooms for only one day before it dies and is replaced by another flower. Lily family flowers do not have separate petals and sepals, but instead have combined petals and sepals called tepals. A lily generally grows from a bulb, a structure made of layers of thick fleshy leaves surrounding a very short stem. Bulbs store food during the growing season, allowing the plants to live after their flowers and above-ground leaves and stems have died. Each lily bulb sprouts again during the next growing season. Some members of the lily family do not have bulbs and use thick leaves to store their food. These include cactus-like aloes and yuccas, which are found in very dry climates. The aloe vera plant juice is used in ointments and lotions to treat burns and other skin disorders. The Joshua tree, a form of yucca found in the American Southwest, is one of the largest members of the lily family, growing over 10 meters or 33 feet tall. This tree's thick branches support clusters of knife-like leaves that point up to the hot desert sun. Another large lily tree is the kokerboom, an aloe that only lives in southern Africa and may grow over 7.5 meters or 25 feet high. Amaryllis family. Most plants from the amaryllis family grow in warm areas or as potted plants in colder climates. The flowers of these plants usually grow on leafless stalks. Over half of the 800 amaryllis species grown from bulbs, the rest grow from corms, thick underground stems that grow vertically, or from rhizomes, underground stems that grow horizontally. Although some of these plants look similar to lilies, there is one significant difference between the two families. The ovary of an amaryllis is inferior, attached below the other flower parts, instead of superior, attached above the other flower parts, like the ovaries of lilies and most other flowers. Like members of the lily family, members of the amaryllis family have tepals instead of petals and sepals. One very familiar amaryllis is the daffodil, a favorite springtime flower. The belladonna lily, a popular autumn-blooming amaryllis, has fragrant blossoms which can be red, white, or purple and up to 10 centimeters or 4 inches long. Other amaryllis family members include the common amaryllis and the narcissus. Several members of the amaryllis family, including wild onion, cultivated onion, garlic, and chive, have strong odors. The wild onion's stems and flowers look similar to those of onions grown in gardens, but the wild onion's bulbs are much smaller. By rubbing the stem between your fingers, you can release the characteristic onion odor. The chive is native to Europe and Asia, but is cultivated throughout the United States. Chives have showy lavender flowers, small egg-shaped bulbs, and long, thin, tube-like leaves. When chopped, the leaves are used to flavor foods like salads, soups, omelets, and cheeses. Chives also contain a large amount of vitamin C. Grass family. Characteristics of grasses. Grass is seemingly insignificant organism that is taken for granted and largely ignored. A grass stem, or culm, is round and hollow except at the node, the place where the leaf attaches to the stem. We tend to think that the blade, the broad flat portion of a leaf, alone is a grass leaf, but the sheath, which attaches to the culm of the blade, is also a very important part of the leaf. The plant grows from the base of the sheath, thus the grass plant can continue to grow even if most of the leaf is eaten or mowed. Another grass plant feature is a stolon, a creeping stem that grows along the ground. The flowers of grass are found in spikelets, which are small inconspicuous flower clusters growing along a main stem in spikes, racemes, or compound racemes. A raceme is similar to a spike except that the flowers grow on small stems that branch off the main stem. Fertilized flowers produce grass fruits or grains. The extent of grasses. Grasses grow on almost every land surface, from swamps to deserts, and from the polar regions to the tropics. In fact, grasses cover 1/3 of the Earth's land area. Grasses range in size from the short varieties used for lawns to sugar canes and bamboos. Some varieties of bamboo grow over 40 meters or 130 feet tall. Most of the great grasslands lie between deserts and humid forest. The grasses in these areas can create dense plant coverings in which seedlings of other species have difficulty becoming established. In grasslands that are frequently ravaged by fire, larger plants like shrubs and trees cannot develop. Grasses remain dominant because their roots survive and are quickly reestablished. A priceless provision. The grasses may be the most important group of plants on Earth. Men and almost all animals depend on grass directly or indirectly for their food. Although humans cannot digest the leaves and stems of grasses, many animals can. When eating meat, humans indirectly benefit from the grass that livestock ate. Grain is high in starch content, making it an excellent energy source. Man has developed the grasses of the meadow into high-yielding cereal grain crops, including wheat, barley, rye, oats, rice, and corn. These crops yield more than 2 billion tons of food a year and literally feed the world.